He was doing a countdown and you started to
started talking. I saw my face on the screen, but welcome guys to the town. Day number 1. Hope you're enjoying so far. Just want a quick apologies about the audio issue so far, but we think we have figured out the source. There's just so much
fireplace.
There's so much stuff plugged in here. There's like interference everywhere, and there are particular spots where
fireplace.
Yeah, like the fireplace that are like super interferency. So we moved the transmitters. Hopefully it'll fix the problem, and if it doesn't, then we have another solution for later. But Mafia, Fwash, carrying the last game.
That was the last game that she could get by without saying as much as she did.
That was a one-time thing.
I think so too.
Well, now people are going to be very suspicious.
Yes.
That's true.
It's going to be tough now.
Yeah.
But it was
die.
enjoyable.
I am. She's going to murder me.
Yes, I will. Vigilante, boom.
Boom. Dead. Yep.
You or Slacks? I'm not yet sure. But I think
yeah, Slacks might be a good choice too. You know, either way. He can't play stupid anymore either.
Yeah.
No, it's true.
Owen, what do you have to say about your
last
game
I've had
performance?
I've made a few minor errors over the tournament so far, but it has been a hard one, and Fosh and Slacks aren't going to be able to get away with that bullshit again. We've got the third game now about to kick off. Some very strong players in this one, some new players as well. I believe Rob, good old Rob here from the tech department of BTS, is stepping in for this one. I don't think there's any new challenges. Everyone else has already played a game so far. Charlie. He's not played a game yet, has he?
Yeah, no, he's modded.
He's not actually been in a game as well. So one to watch out for here as well, Mr.
Definitely.
Charlie Yang. So
he's really good as Town, and he often gets killed up very, very early.
Yeah.
He's actually begged them not to kill him this round.
Yes, because he really wants to play.
Medic, heads up. Decide on your save. Medic, heads down.
Hey, did we talk during this?
Yeah, you can talk.
Yeah, we
during
can
this,
talk.
but
Okay, because
Vigi,
I
heads
think
up.
that's a good save.
Decide
yeah,
on
they
who
can
to
hear.
choose.
Oh, this is a good Vigi as well. Pimpers the
Vigi,
Vigi.
heads down.
This is very good for the town.
Oh.
Everybody heads up.
Oh, real quick, during the night.
Okay.
You have to play
Well,
music.
this should be a very interesting game. So let game 3 of Mafia at the Town 2015 begin.
Very unfortunate night.
God damn it!
For the Nexon champions.
Are you?
And unfortunately, MVP Hot 6 was able to defeat Purge and Merlini.
Oh shit! Yo, I made a night!
Congratulations.
Next on champion? Yeah. It's just us two.
Yeah, I was just like, I'll see you later, Blitz. Yeah, actually, Chopra was more of it than Ben.
Alright, continue to discuss amongst yourselves.
Why, because he was
So
the
we don't need
manager?
to use the mics.
Do we or don't we?
I think you guys need to use the mic.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm alive!
Charlie is very excited that he's alive right now.
Okay, can we? As a side note, if anybody saw my reaction, I really did think when Hoppit said the Nexon champions, it's only 2 of us. It's me and Kevin. So I genuinely thought I had died in the night. If somebody saw, I was just like, fuck, I'm dead. I was like getting ready to get up. I didn't do Charlie's. I felt like that was actually the most suspicious when Charlie immediately got up. But my reaction, on a side note, this was not planned. There's no way that I can put that together instantly and be like, this is what I'm going to use. I was genuinely surprised. I was like, fuck, I'm dead. Me and Purge are decent kills. That makes sense.
I just want to say I did that because when Ken was saying unfortunately, he looked right at me while he was saying it. That's why I thought it was me.
If I was Mafia, I would have killed Charlie just to see him go crazy. We missed that opportunity. I feel depressed now.
I don't want. First of all right, let's not let this guy go under the radar again. For like he's sitting here, he had his hat down below his freaking face. He's like he won last game doing some crazy ass shit. I don't know what happened, so I'm just throwing that out there. Let's actually not assume he's Town for 99% of the game.
Let's not assume Slacks is new anymore. He's a real threat. He figured it out.
I think we should kill Charlie because if Charlie wasn't Mafia, he would be dead. Because everybody loves to knock out Charlie. If Charlie wasn't Mafia, it would have been the funny joke to kill Charlie, so he's the number one.
Do you realize this is once again this next gaming, next level metagaming bullshit?
Is that really that next gaming though? Because Charlie it's not even, it's a joke, man. He dies first round every time. So
maybe they just wanted to let him play for once in his life. I don't know.
No, there's no mercy in Mafias. None.
You
especially in this setup where as Mafia you have 2 kill power to start and then go down to 1 the first successful lynch, you want to make sure that both your Knight 0 kills go through, and so you want to pick good players that are unlikely to be medic saved. Charlie is very likely to be medic saved.
I think Slacks is definitely the target in this game, because last game he just kind of played us all.
Okay,
I'm just saying, yeah.
I am Mafia. Nah, I'm just kidding. Look at your faces, though. No, I'm not. No, I'm not Mafia.
Such a waste of time. I'm down to kill him just because he's bad town anyways.
Okay,
and
stop.
Okay.
Productive time.
Honest.
That was my one joke.
Okay.
All right. That was my one joke. I am town.
Okay.
I am town. I can't pretend to be shitty.
Cheers to that.
Okay. All right. Let me talk. I am town. I can't pretend to be shitty, so I'm gonna play it normally and not too crazy. But I am town. If you vote me out now, you're wasting a town member that is an easy identifier. One thing that you need to think about me when you watch me is I'm very animated and stuff, and it's easy to pick up on my tells. And everyone can know that.
Yeah, he's right.
And I mean, I'm cool as a cucumber this round because I'm fucking town. If I start having tells, I'm offering for all of you to look at me intently and see if I have any tells.
Last game you were pretending. You were like, oh. You know, when something got too annoying, or you were like, you fidgeted, but that was all a lie.
That's acting. I'm not acting right now. I'm being normal.
Okay, well, I don't really,
It's
whatever.
easier to tell when I try to pretend when I'm starting off normal. When you act the whole time, then it's easier to tell when someone breaks. Sorry. All right, sorry. I was acting the whole time last time. So it's a lot easier to tell when someone's not acting to when they are, whereas when they start the whole act the entire time. So I'm being extremely normal right now. So if I do anything crazy out of the ordinary, you're going to instantly know. So I'm town. Don't waste your shit on me.
Thanks, Slacks. Cute story.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily true that just because you go crazy that it's... I mean, that's your character. Just because you're normal now and then you go crazy doesn't mean that, you know, you're automatically Mafia. What I'm saying is that it's not a tell. It doesn't really tell us anything.
Can I just propose that
we'll
go through this? Can I just propose that we go through this round and we all give our reads, and if there's something compelling that we may go on somebody else, and the default is if we don't end up convinced of somebody else, we just lynch Slacks.
I think this is a really good idea. Why? Because he's okay. So if you're town, you're useless. You're useless as fuck right now. Because you're just like sitting there. You're like derailing a lot. You're just talking bullshit. You're making dumb jokes. Mr. Professor is tired of your shit, right? And that's an issue. No, I'm just kidding. But still, it's not a bad idea. Let's go around and have people tell stuff, because there's people giving tells. For example, Travis was very adequate. Like for the first time, kind of, he's getting more into it. I'm getting a really, what the hell? I'm getting a really town read of him because he's trying to accuse people, trying to get information for the town, all that shit. Like, he's actually playing pretty okay for once. Like, he's playing way better than last game, for example. I'm sorry, that's how I am. Come on, like, just don't act. Yeah, this is, once again, your character. Great stuff. We're just wasting time. See? We're getting into this. And I think Travis is doing a good job. Also, Charlie is also doing a good job, but that's how he usually plays, also as Mafia, so I can't really read into it. But if I'm having reads right now, for example, Travis is pretty towny, and you're not. I'm sorry.
Let's go around and just keep...
Oh, you got a scummy vibe off of Andrew.
We haven't got to talk much over here. We don't have a mic. Hello, gentlemen.
No, look, I was... Okay, fine.
Yeah, look, I mean, we had to... Oh, yeah. That's going to happen more. We got to try. I don't think we should just jump into lynching Slacks. He hasn't actually played Town a single game. He's had 3 games. Every single game is Mafia. I mean, everyone's jumping to the conclusion he's going to be useless Town based on him being useless 3 games in a row.
No.
And he played Town and he completely threw.
Okay, he was telling me he played 3 Mafia games in a row. Yeah. Okay, well then I was under the impression he'd only been Mafia, and we have not actually seen Town Slacks yet. But
Practice game, so I was going crazy. It was my first time ever playing Mafia.
Okay.
So I was going ham.
Anyways, I don't feel like we should just jump on the Slacks train. I think it's an easy one and something that Mafia is going to push, or at least a lot easier for them to push based on no merit, and it gains us nothing. So I just don't think that's where we should go.
Okay, first, I have a scummy vibe off of Andrew. It's a purely body read based off of your facial expressions, your actions, the way, how you've laughed. I mean, I've watched the last 2 games, 3 games where you've played Town and Mafia. Your Town body language is completely different from your Mafia body language. When you play Mafia, your actions are more flamboyant. They're more flamboyant. When you're Mafia, yes, you're more flamboyant than normal. You overact more. Your reactions are you overreact compared to your Town play. You're much more calm. You are much more relaxed.
So you think I'm Mafia right now? Or you think I'm Town?
No, I said I have a scummy vibe off of you. So you are more Mafia. So right now, your body language to me tells me that you're Mafia. That's it. So I want to hear your reactions on
Is
this
anyone
game.
else feeling
Anything
the
else?
scum vibe from Andrew? I can't see him too well from my peripheral, so I can't give a judgment call.
I think Andrew's actually really hard to tell. Like in every game we've played, he's kind of been really quiet for the first few rounds and just kind of chill. So
Yeah,
I think it's difficult.
Yeah, you can go. I mean, I don't really have a great defense. I feel like I haven't really done much this game. Just listening to Slacks and Mott go hand in hand. So, talk, Rob.
I was just gonna say I smell a scummy vibe. That's all.
Oh,
Got him. No, I got nothing yet. First round's really hard to read. I mean, like it's very up in the air. Usually people get really aggressive, but I like to stay chill.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Rob, can you just real quickly like tell me have you played Mafia before? What kind of player are you? Like, what do you feel your strengths are?
Okay, Charlie.
Yeah,
if
he
you've
was
ever- if
Town
you've
once
ever
and he
played-
fake claimed
hey,
a role and lost us the game.
If you've ever played with B-Diz or No Tail, I'm similar to them.
You're not.
So we're all down to
ready,
kill
boys.
Rob. Everyone in for this? We kill
But
Rob.
I haven't played with either of them, so I'm just going off what other people have said. So,
Okay.
I'm a wild card, bitch.
I'm not done pressuring Andrew. I'm not like sold on the fact that you're Mafia, but when people have pressured you, that's usually when that behavior has come out. So I want to know, what do you think? What do you think of everybody here? What do you think of your own behavior and yourself?
Okay, so first of all, on Slack, since I didn't get to comment before, I agree with what Parker said for the most part. I don't think we want to just straight kill him, but I think we want to be suspicious because I can't read him at all. To me, he is the biggest question mark next to Charlie because honestly, I've played very few games with you. You almost always die right away or I die right away. So I don't really know what to expect.
When have we played together?
I don't know if we have. I think there's got to be a time or two, but not much. So this side is just quiet. Like Dakota and especially Chobra, I'm not sure, but it's a mic thing. So I kind of want to.
I haven't heard anything from Blitz or Cat.
Yeah, so I don't know. I wouldn't mind hearing from Chobra though. I don't really have many great reads so far. I guess it sounds like I'm dodging.
What do you think of your own behavior?
I think my own behavior. I think I'm Town. I think last game I was Town and played different than I normally do because I wanted to try a little more animated, try to actually pressure people instead of sitting back and letting other people pressure. It didn't really work that well, so this game I'm trying to find the middle balance. If that might be why I seem like I'm different than usual.
I mean, I'm not sold, but I want to hear more, anyways.
There was a proposal to hear from. Yeah.
Well, me?
Yeah.
Kill this kid.
I mean, I don't know much else to say. Like, I'm still learning more, like, reads and whatnot from people more than anything. You know, like, I've only played one game of Mod so far, seen two. With Zyori, I'm like 10% off of where Charlie is because I can see where the accusation is coming from, and I'm not convinced by his defense more than anything. Like, I'm not convinced by the accusation, but I'm definitely not convinced by the defense. But it's also just day one, so it's like you can't really read too much into that. Eventually, usually we just kind of go with whoever we have the most percentage with. No one's like 100% sure someone's something on day one unless you like heard them move or they got up and screamed that they're Mafia.
What do you feel your strengths are as a player? Like, what are you going to bring to Town?
My
how
strengths?
How are you going to help me win this game?
I think I'm super logical. I think I'm super smart. I think I also fly under the radar really well, which is both good for Town and Mafia. So,
good answer.
I mean, no, you know, I mean, I'm just putting that out there. You know what? That's just how I play the game. I usually play the long game both as Town and Mafia, but especially more so as Town. I think it's you never try to play for the early win because that's just so much harder and so much riskier. You always have a better chance of winning late game.
So I think right now what I've been kind of going through is like the first two kills and the importance of that. I think it's pretty experienced Mafia who took out those two people. Merlini locks onto somebody and he doesn't really let that go despite like any disruptions. And I think that like he can very easily hunt out like bad Mafia and like no matter how like bad the game goes or like maybe there's bad Town or whatever, like he'll ignore that and just lock onto you. So I think he was dangerous. Like Cuddle Guy, like That was for me like one of the big things is that he was able to shoot you during the night, despite like not necessarily going on KG. So I think for me that actually, I want to point towards like people who I think are strong Mafia, but are probably quiet. So I actually thought like Chobra was like for me one of the potential biggest threats that I think he would correctly identify. I want to kill like these people who won't get medic save, which was a good thing that Nahaz brought up. And I didn't think of that. I don't know if anybody else thought of that immediately, but maybe I would just like wasn't ahead of the curve. But I think that was a smart play that Nahaz put out, which also makes me a little bit suspicious about like the fact that you don't want to do the obvious kill, right? But you still want to kill Strong Town. Like that's something I don't know. Maybe I just had a brain fart.
I think.
Sorry. One more thing. The fact that Dakota's still alive, I think clears Blitz more, right? Because of the whole thing that he said last game. He hasn't brought that up, but.
So I thought I'm going to give my slight pass rates and the one on this game. So I thought the biggest tell that last game that Slacks was Mafia was because he kept putting pressure on me like nonstop. And I felt like that was so obvious, even though there was like nothing really concrete on me. He was just like, let's kill Blitz just to get rid of me. And I felt like that was part of the reason why I was so heavy into him in the beginning. But this time around, he's not doing that as much. And I feel like that's just a more amateur play in general. It's like just to target me, try to get me going because people think that I'm a suspicious figure. I think it's more likely this time around. I sort of agree with Cap's assessment that it's more likely that there are more experienced Mafias here because the weird thing is, like, I guess in the beginning I talked about how, you know, I was pretty surprised that I wasn't killed and stuff like that, but there's been like no pressure on me whatsoever. And normally somebody, they want to, if you're Town and you're a good player, you're at least going to put some pressure on me.
To be honest, you started off kind of lucky, though. The whole Nexon thing was...
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you started off at like 10%.
That actually really... Be careful with the mics.
Please use the mic, please, if you're going to talk.
Yeah, it was just the fact that like he started off with the whole Nexon thing that everybody kind of like puts Blitz 10% more Town than anybody else just to start off the game. So I'm not sure how much that says about the game.
Yeah, but I do think it's like a little bit weird that I haven't been accused once. Like when I was Town even last game, I was fielding questions like left and right, and people were fairly.
So what is that? What do you think that says about you?
Yeah.
I think.
Or anybody else.
I feel like what that means is that the Mafia, you know, they know that I'm Town. They're not going to really bother trying to put suspicion.
Right now, who is it?
I think that the likely targets right now for me are like Rob, Chobra, or Charlie.
Okay.
Rob, when I can't remember, it was Cap that was giving his like speech. I do think part of it is some people listen just by like not looking at the other person and stuff like that. But he was just like kind of like blank stared, like kind of just like chilling out. Didn't really seem like he was responding to very much of the things that Cap was saying, even though like I thought it was all very good. It felt like you were a little bit too spacey when it came to that. Like I didn't see you make eye contact with anybody, and when I look around the room just to see, like, it's a basic litmus test, almost everybody's like listening, they're focused in, they're honed in, they're trying to figure out what information they can glean. So I thought that was a little bit suspicious. I put suspicion on Charlie because he hasn't put any pressure on me, and it feels like one of those moves where he can just kind of get me to buy into it and say like, okay, I can get Blitz to go along with me because I haven't accused him yet.
All right, can I just real quick? So first off, just is there anybody else that shares Charlie's read on Zuri? Anybody else that sort of? No. Yeah.
So I'm going to say that, sorry, Zuri, but I don't think Zuri, like the first time that I saw him Mafia, like he literally didn't have like any reads on the game or anything. That was like very clear Mafia, and we didn't end up lynching him for whatever reason. It was just like, I'd never played with you before, so I was like, okay, maybe he just doesn't know the game. And then I found out later that you had played. So for me, I think, like, I just don't consider him that much of a threat if he is Mafia, but maybe I'll be proven wrong.
As far as Zyori is concerned, I think he was Town for the first time that I've played with him last game, and he was accusing people more heavily, including myself. And in the Mafia games, he was sitting further back, which is kind of what he's doing now. Now he could be saying that, you know, he's getting to be better. He talked about how he's like maybe trying to find a middle ground between, you know, sitting around and being active. I'm not like accusing him. That's just my thoughts on the matter.
It's also, you have to keep in mind that every game we have a different composition, so you kind of adjust your style a little bit depending on who's playing. And I've played every game so far.
The reason that I should point out, the reason that I said that wasn't necessarily to be like, oh, I think you're bad, Mafia, right? It was more like people who have played with you, like the BTS guys, maybe you guys played outside, right? That, like, I want information essentially about like whether or not you are good Mafia or if that was just like a bad game or something, you know, that sort of thing.
want to hear Pinwheel talk.
Yeah, I want to hear specifically. I want to hear Dakota, JJ, Rob, and Shane.
I want to chime in just because I feel like I want to be a town member who actually gives info, and the mic doesn't get over here very often. So I just want to make sure I get some 2 cents in. I back up Zyori in this one because I know outside of the game he was talking about how adjusting his play style and how he was trying to play that Mafia game, and I was expecting him to kind of play a bit different this time, so I'll kind of put a pass on that. As far as Will and Charlie, like I'm trying to gauge how genuine I felt they were at the beginning of the game when they felt either upset or relieved that they were killed at first. And I'm trying to see how much credit I want to give them as Mafias to be that next level to immediately be like, oh man, and oh great, and then sit back down. So I feel it was more genuine for both of them. So the only intel I can really give is that I feel pretty strongly that the 3 of them are town folk in some way.
All right, for me, initially I didn't agree with the Zyori call, but I called out Slacks because when I watched in the last game, he was like, when he was called out, he kind of went over the top, I'm an idiot, like I'm kind of playing the role. And in this game, he's kind of quiet and he's not really doing the same thing. And Chobra, when confronted, kind of gave a very generic answer. He just kind of said, this is who I like, and it's almost like he read off a page, to be honest. So that for me is the one that stood out the most.
I think Slacks is smart enough to know that, like especially from like a sort of newbie like look at it, that to play the act the whole entire time at Mafia is like kind of okay for him, but when it comes to playing town, you can't be that disruptive and you can't play the act. And I think he spelled that out pretty well. So he really thought about it ahead, but I just think that he actually just made the right call. I think he's very town for me.
Sure. I don't have a whole hell of a lot. The only real connection I can make here, other than, I was in the past few games too. This is my first game. Consider me like born yesterday. But the only connection I have between like the people that were killed earlier and like anybody else here and like why they would be specifically killed, who would pick them out, be like, I think they share the connection of Will, mostly. Ben and Kevin. It's a little triangle right there. I think maybe they know him pretty well and he'd want to get rid of him pretty early. That way, the people that know him best aren't going to be like taking him out when like seeing his tells and things like that. That's the only thing I'm not accusing him. I'm just saying like that's the only connection I can make. He did point me out and like among a few other people, but I'm a jittery guy. People usually point me out day one. I am, man. I got Red Bull flowing in my veins.
Pimp, what do you think of Cap?
Okay, so there's a couple differences in this game. Cap, for example, talks way more than he usually does. He's usually a really, really, really quiet day zero, and then he comes out more and more the more he can get conclusions. This time I think he felt a bit more pressured, also because you were kind of...
I pressured him.
Yeah. But this still means like he's okay to give information away. It was just mostly body reads, and I think Cap is playing more town than some others here. I think he's kind of ish town. We shouldn't kill him now. Then William is... This Zephyr thing was pretty telling, and also how he's trying to make town get information right now. He's trying to accuse a lot of people. I think he's playing also really towny. I'm not sure about you at all. I was wondering, Gods, did you like lock on Jake on action slacks?
No, he defended him.
No. But I mean, okay, because I was just trying to look around because in the last few games when I gave so much information, I would always get killed in night 1 or 2. And I was trying to keep the information a bit lower this time and just read people so far. And he was trying to see what Slacks is doing. I was trying to see what Slacks is doing because Slacks was just sitting around. He was looking at the floor. He was doing stuff with his head. He was not really following the conversation at all. And maybe this is because he's getting tired. This is entirely possible. But he was not as active as someone from a town would. Because if you're playing town, you really want to look around.
This is not an...
Hold on. I have more. So you want to look around, right? You want to see what people are kind of citing. Everyone was here. Everyone was watching when Will was trying to make a case against several people. Example would be Chobra, but he was not really on it. So this is still super suspicious to me. And then also there's Alan, because Alan is usually leading the conversation. Now this time, of course, there is Charlie. Yeah.
And there are only 2 mics. Yeah.
That's true. I mean, it's kind of okay. It just I'm also really suspicious of you.
Okay. That did not.
No, go.
Look, I think that was like whatever. Like it's like a whole bunch of words just coming at everybody at once. I think that tells us more about you than really like anybody else. I'm not saying that you're Mafia. I think people you usually do that anyways. I want to know what Andrew thinks about Cap.
What I think about Cap?
Yeah, I want to know what you think about Cap.
I think Cap is one of the more difficult players to read. I get a pretty good vibe. JJ is the one that's really making me feel weird here. And but even before that, we've had microphone issues that we've been bringing up, but it's been in his general vicinity for a while. He was holding it for a while, and he's usually much more talkative. I think he's playing much different. And that
Just explain that.
Well, sort of. I couldn't even. I fell asleep during that word vomit, man. That was just like.
I mean,
sorry if that's harsh, but Jesus.
That was not no. That was not a that was not a horrible play unconditionally, but that is not what I expect of you.
Correct.
That was
that's
very
why I said
poor for you.
I was trying to read more this time.
I'm going to go back to something that happened way earlier, though. To me, way earlier when Blitz laid suspicion on Rob, what was it, Rob, Chobra, and Charlie were your three? Those were the same three that I had in mind when you said that, and nothing has happened in the interim that's gotten me off that. I've just added JJ to the list, and I'm also convinced, just in case I die here in the next night, I'm also convinced that there may be a link here between Slacks and Gods.
Okay. To finish just what you asked, though, I'm not suspicious of Cap.
Okay, so I think there's a good chance I die next night. The reason I've been asking everybody about Cap is because I want to see people's reactions to him. In my mind, I think he's like incredibly Town.
I would agree.
I think in my mind he's super Town to me right now. And I think for me that's the one point that I'm like 90% sure of, is that I'm pretty sure Cap is Town. I think Will is mostly Town just because of that Zephyr thing, but I think in my mind there does exist that possibility that he actually could have thought of
It's just perfect.
to react to it. It's just like, keep it in the back of your mind. I actually think Andrew is more Town now.
I don't think.
Can we? Yeah.
Hey, sorry, really quick. So, yeah, absolutely. So let's all just agree that I'm a very big target. There's no way I'm going to make it to the end. Someone's going to kill me. If you're Mafia, would you take that opportunity to defend the other a person that you know is going to die to look good? Nobody defended me that much except for Cap. Now, why would Cap put his neck out for me when I'm basically a known dead guy? It's to manipulate the group into thinking, okay, well, he's trying to save someone. If you're Mafia and you want to look like a Town, you go after someone and, oh, please don't kill that guy because you know that he's fucked. I know I'm dead. I'm 1,000% dead.
That's not true at all.
All right. So says the Mafia.
No, so
you're top.
Okay, so that logic, I don't believe that is very sound logic. I don't believe that it applies in this case, but that is one of Cap's big tells. Is that when he's Mafia, he overreps Town. In my opinion,
I want a formal JJ. I'll just put it out there.
I want a formal Charlie.
Okay, well, who seconds first? Whoever seconds
Okay.
first.
All right.
I'm gonna second on Charlie. I want to hear the defense.
All right.
And this doesn't count. This doesn't count.
Can I do my accusation? I feel like the way that Charlie has been giving information out, I think that it's likely that Charlie or Pimp, one of them, is. That's why I'm okay with either. But I felt like the way that Charlie has been kind of leading the discussion, it doesn't really feel like he's giving us something to work with. Like I noticed like the number one thing when I'm Mafia is that I'm very hesitant to accuse people because I don't want to put suspicion. But if you're Town, you're just gonna you're gonna just shoot like a wide angle because you have no idea who anybody is. I feel like that makes you less suspicious the more YOLO you are, the Pyrian style where you're just like, I think it's him, because you have no idea who anybody is. And the fact that Charlie, if you really listen to what he was saying, like, I think he's a great player, but I really felt like most of the time when he was giving out information, there was nothing concrete that you could stick to him that you were just like, that, like, that, okay, we can go with that guy. It was more just like, oh, I'm going to clear this confirmed Town guy. I'm going to clear this guy who doesn't have a lot of suspicion. So I felt like JJ's speech was suspicious, but I feel a lot stronger about Charlie here.
All right, I was the very beginning, the day opened, I was the first person to go on Andrew. I gave my body reads and everything. I was really suspicious of him, and I tried to tease more information out of him. And then I went on Cap. Like, how I've played Town every single time, like in the past, I always try and confirm Town for the rest of Town because I never make it to the end. So it's always the way I play Town. in every single game is to give Town as much information going forward because I am going to die.
But that's not the problem. It's that you're so narrow in this game. It's that you're the biggest issue that I have with you this game is that you were very narrow. Like I feel like what you said is exactly right. But I feel like you didn't answer Blitz's point. Blitz's main criticism of you was that you usually cast a wider net.
No, I actually don't. I actually
But
don't
I-
usually
I thought it
cast
was-
a wider net. I almost always pick one or two people and I go off of them, and then I build from there.
But
I
it-
never cast a wide net.
But it felt a little weird when
Okay,
you.
can we just like that? Is that your official defense? Like, you need a little bit more. Are we gonna proceed on the vote with him, or do you have more to say?
I mean, more or less all of that. Like, all of that is entirely consistent with when I'm Town. Like that's exactly what I do. When I'm Mafia, I'm more wider. When I'm Mafia, I'm more wider net. I'm more wishy-washy. I was very specific of who I went on, who I think is Town, why I think they're Town, why I think they were Mafia.
Okay, we're gonna have Pim say something, and then Charlie's gonna have the last word, and then we're gonna decide whether to vote on him. Okay?
Okay, so just because I was also getting accused from a lot of people, I just wanted to quickly make a case so we don't go into the last day lynch on me. Okay, so.
Just to be clear, there's one after this, and then the random.
Yeah, exactly.
But
So
the random could be 0.
the random could be 0.
Only one after
a third of a chance.
Yeah.
And it's crucial that we don't miss lynch. So just to put me off the list of people you guys want to go for, this whole. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know. Can we do this? Yeah, I'm just trying to. Okay, yeah, then we don't do it.
You don't need to do this.
Okay, yeah, then we just don't.
Okay, so do we want to continue with the vote on Charlie, whoever accused?
I would like to.
Okay.
I am okay.
Who
I was the second, and
I think Slacks was the second.
Slacks was the first.
No, I was.
No, all right,
I was
you were the
raising
first
my
second. All right,
hand,
it's
and
your
then he
choice.
came out.
No, I mean, I don't think it's. I think it's as long as one of you wants it.
I give it to Nahas. Nahas, I trust you.
Okay. Are you going forward?
No, we're not going forward with this. I think we're getting. I think we're getting.
I would take the second instead.
Okay, all right. We're putting enough people that want to vote, so we're gonna
Are you
vote.
serious?
Everybody heads down. If you want to vote Charlie off, please raise your hand. Everybody heads up. That is not enough.
Oh God! Thank God! Okay. Holy shit! No! Hands back up. Who voted in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Mafia there, guys.
Just
there is
4?
100%.
Yeah,
Mafia there.
okay, hold on, Mike.
But Cap, you did the vote, but you didn't.
There's
somebody
take
take that.
It's
There is
super important to get the
100%
vote.
There is
The problem is-
100% Mafia there. I think we've gotten way too far from this principle
Which
of
motherfuckers?
I didn't vote.
No.
1, 2, 3, 4. There is.
I voted.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay, so you guys have one formal and then the random formal.
There is Mafia there 100%. I think we're getting too far from this principle of if you're not dead certain first day, you lynch weak town. And that's why I'm still suspicious of Pimp Uncle, but he is. I think it would be a huge mistake to make him our last formal. I think I'm leaning now toward Ziori being the final formal. I was leaning before that toward being Rob, but I'm not going to formal either of them. That's up to you guys.
All right. So my defense is basically, if I was Mafia, I'd kill Charlie. Everyone was always saying Charlie's the best. I've never actually played a game of Mafia with you, but everyone is literally saying you die every round, first round. So I don't know why you didn't die. Is my question.
I mean, we've already answered that because I'm a likely medic save as well. And Ben and Kevin are also very good players in their own right.
Okay.
I felt like the main reason I wanted to push you to a vote is I'm still a little bit suspicious on Charlie, but I thought his defense sort of made sense. I thought the part about like Ziori, how he put pressure, but then he was asking Ziori's opinion, like that was a little bit weird. But I did just want to put it to a vote because I think that gleans a lot of information. Like you learn a lot about how people voted and stuff like that. And now I'm actually like 100 times more suspicious of Shane because he hasn't really been talking too much. I feel like I'm more suspicious of the people that are willing to vote.
Every time I tried to get the microphone, you took it off me.
But I didn't talk for like the last like 8 minutes.
No, but I went like this, and you pulled it away from me though. And when at the very start of the game, okay, when Hopbit said he was dead, I looked at you first, and you looked at me. I assumed that you was dead. So like you have to give me something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Real quick, why aren't you suspicious of Tobra? Because you already had suspicious. Oh, okay, why aren't you more suspicious of him than Shane?
Because I felt like Chobra was talking at least a little bit more. It like for me, either would have been.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Can we get?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm a little suspicious of Chobra now. I'm not sure if I'm playing this that well as a Town. Charlie intimidates me as a player, and I think him and Cap are either 100% Town or they're 100% Mafia, which is not a very bold claim, but I know. But so they've been ping ponging off of each other. So when Cap seconded,
seconded a vote. There's no. I'm so sure.
No.
There's no
That
way
is
he's
not
Mafia.
there. Yeah.
I'm so sure there's no.
Yeah,
way
I'm
he's
pretty.
I know. So that's
but
what-
I'll be said. Just because I didn't vote for him doesn't mean
No,
that.
no,
clear.
no.
die with you.
You're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
Like Cap actually corrected my mistake. It was actually it was an unforgivable mistake of me to rescind the second there, and Cap was the first one.
No, but I'm saying once.
I'm actually very glad that happened.
Fuck it.
Need something in the next 30 seconds.
Well, okay. First of all, I still voted for Charlie because I felt like the way he was leading the discussion was very. He was actually like leading it rather than putting out his strong opinions. And obviously it's only day one, so he might not have opinions, but that can go either way where even if he's Town, if he gets mistaken and he still leads the discussion, it muddies things and no one doubts it because he's strong, right? So to me, it was like, all right, I still had some suspicions based on the accusations made. If he lives and he makes a mistake, I think that's still too strong. I believe in myself more than Charlie. That's just what it is. I believe in myself more than anyone, and that's how any strong player should play. So that's why I voted. I still stand by my suspicions on JJ, because I think the way he was speaking was much faster. He was just kind of shooting off at everyone and casting a wide net, whereas before he was very insistent. He's very logical normally, and before it was just like, all right, it's day one, I have to make my defenses.
Seriously, don't fear strong players. Be willing to, don't fear strong players.
Oh, I'm not fearing him. I have suspicions, that's why.
Well,
if there was zero,
yes.
I'm saying there's at least 50% suspicion on Charlie, and on top of that, he's a strong player, so I see no reason to necessarily save him when I have suspicion. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I need to vote someone.
I would like to formal gods.
Okay. All right, second.
That could be our last.
Okay.
I'd love to talk. I've been trying to
That
talk
could
for
be our
a long
last
time. I think with Cap's obvious second there, it was the most obvious. Let's just see a vote to see who's going to vote for it. I don't think, like Charlie says, it makes him obvious Town, because as soon as he did that, I'm like, well, he's just trying to see who's going to vote. It was the most obvious play ever. Whether he's to me didn't say Town or Mafia. Any experienced Mafia player is going to just know, like, let's see a vote. We're being forced into a formal. That didn't tell me anything, and I was actually surprised that Nahaz didn't actually second it. I think looking at who did vote, I think because Chobra's experienced, I don't think that makes him Mafia. I feel like because it was such an obvious, let's see who's going to vote. To me, I have a town vibe from him. Mafia vibe I have from Andrew as well as Shane, because those were two kind of hopped on the vote who I feel may just do it because they felt like there was a convincing enough case for Charlie. Slacks also voted up, but I don't think if he was Mafia again, I feel like Slacks wants to fly under the radar. I don't feel like he's going to go on the first vote. That's the first vote we've had all day. I don't see any reason why Slacks' Mafia would hop on a vote for the first round. I'm also very suspicious of Dakota. I feel like his body language is very similar to last game, but he's also just said jack shit, so I don't really know what to say too much about him.
So we had the.
Why aren't I Mafia? I've just been sitting back listening. I've tried to talk a few times. I don't get to talk much because two mics have been over there. That's the vocal side of the room. Pretty much every time someone makes a point, nothing against you, Nahaz, but you're always there, quick to respond. So there's just been no room to talk. I haven't done anything particularly Town. You guys can obviously see that. This is why I'm kind of glad I got to formal, because that means I get to talk. So you guys can judge whether I'm Town or not based on the last minute.
Are we gonna proceed with the vote?
No. Wait. That means we have random.
You realize if we don't pursue this, there's a 1/3 chance that.
I mean, if you rescind it, I'll second it.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think we should vote, but not.
All right, we're gonna vote. Everyone heads down. If you think gods is Mafia, raise your hands. Everybody heads up. One is not enough.
Wait, who's the one?
YOLO, yeah.
Sorry, mate. I trust in the 1/3.
I trust in the 1/3.
Yeah.
Randomness means you do have additional.
We do have at least one more.
Okay.
All right.
How long do we
Trust
have?
in the 1/3.
Can I just say something?
How long do we have before our next formal? Like, do we have some time?
You have like a few minutes, like 2 to 3
Alright,
minutes.
just metagame things. I think in general, Town should try to push accusations and votes way earlier.
Yeah.
Because we are like running around in circles. Like it was really annoying. And also, I like Alan was just like going ham. I saw you. I was also going ham. So we should really push for more votes. Like you were annoyed, right?
I was what?
Annoyed?
Yeah,
because
I
we were
was
going in
annoyed.
circles,
Yeah.
right? Because I was as well, and I saw you.
pulled back his second though.
Yeah, that's what I don't quite understand. But this is also in a sense where you gave a really good defense.
Don't hold the bottom of the mic. Don't touch it.
Okay, so I just want to say, Shut the fuck up. I want to say for the next few days, let's go and vote more. It tells us a lot more than just going around in circles.
Can we not talk about general principles? We can do that in the game. Let's go.
All right. Well, speaking of which, I think I'd like to call a vote on Cap. And
No.
what?
Wait, first of all, no, don't. Okay, we don't have to get too emotional. We want. Okay, even if it's on like
One more.
this night, it's day freaking 1. All right, it's fine.
Just speak.
Just let him
Okay,
talk.
maybe I don't want to. You don't have to second me, but again, I will go with my gut feeling that the easiest thing to do was this. I'm dead anyway. Mafia is the easy kill on me, so he's trying to defend me. Just stop. And then also, he calls up Charlie. He seconds the vote, and then he doesn't vote, which is also a very good Mafia manipulative play. I don't know. That's my feeling. Is that I don't trust Cap.
I will second Cap.
Okay, okay. On this case, I just want to add something. All right, before we all vote, I'm not condoning one side or the other, but don't write off what someone else says just because it doesn't
One
go
of
along.
these 4 has to be our last form of Jesus. Oh no.
Okay. So the whole, like, I was thinking about the whole 1/3, and that's something that Mafia can definitely abuse, right? Like, if somebody makes the wrong, like, accusation, and like, people are very likely, because they don't want to go to another potential, like, night, they'll just vote, right? I don't think people are going to vote on me, just the way it is. But I feel like it would be a Mafia play to be like, see if I can push this through, right? I wasn't really suspicious of Gods at all until now, just because he seconded. I think Slack's just, like, I think he's one of those independent players, right? So he's just going on his own. I mean, I'm.
But this is why you don't be afraid to kill off bad talent.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so the biggest thing, if we don't vote on me, I would really like to vote on Zuri, or I mean, I thought Rob had a good point, so like I think I'm okay with him, like Zuri or maybe Pimp, just because the misplay in the beginning. I think you're very less likely to make that as Town and much more likely to make that as Mafia.
Do we want to continue with the vote?
Please don't.
No, it makes sense. Okay, well, you guys have the more, so let's go.
Yep.
All right. Mafia heads up. Decide on your first kill. Decide on your first kill. Decide on your second kill. Decide on your second kill. Mafia heads up. Mafia heads up. And agree on your second kill. Mafia, keep your heads up. You guys have to just decide on the second kill. Keep your heads up and fucking decide on a second kill. You're all pointing at different people. Second kill. Please. Fuck, are you serious right now? Mafia, heads up and fucking decide. I'm not, just keep your heads up until you all point at the same person. Mafia, heads down. Cop, heads up. Decide on someone to check. Cop, heads down. Medic, heads up. Decide on someone to save. Medic, heads down. Vigi, heads up. Decide on someone to shoot. Vigi, heads down. Okay, everybody heads up. I know I didn't play the music. I'm sorry again.
Oh, fuck.
Charlie, you're dead. Sorry. And sorry. Charlie, you're dead. And
so bad.
Oh my god.
What? You have a stream. You have a stream. Yeah, can't really see.
It was fucking confusing.
Are we really asking Twitch chat?
No, we can ask the production.
Yeah, production will know.
Do this again. No, there's no need to do it yet.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Let's waste another 5 minutes having Mafia.
Just don't say anything. Just don't say.
All right. Everybody don't say anything, but I just want to get a double comment. I just want to say that the burgers are so good. Who wants to zoom in for a Twitch chat? I know one person that does.
It's fine.
The second person was Pimp.
That's what I thought.
And the third person was Shane.
All right, so Vigi fired a shot. So who's the Vigi?
You might as
what?
well come forward now.
Vigi, right?
Is that?
3 people died.
Yeah, because you fired the shot.
First of all, can we just?
No.
The Mafia had their heads up for literally like a year and a half.
Wait.
No,
we want to do sides. Yeah,
away from the fireplace. So. Cat, move over.
I just want to ask. The Mafia had their heads up for like 2 minutes. Did anybody like hear anything or do anything?
Straight up, there was a lot of noise to my left, so I'm convinced it was either Gods or Dakota, or there's like 2 out of these 4.
I also heard. Okay, so something I do want to point out.
Or 3.
And I feel pretty strongly about this. I heard Shane giggling like crazy during the entire process, and his face was like somewhat high up. So I think it's reasonable that the Fiji did believe like it was Shane or something like that. Because that as a kill makes no sense for them whatsoever.
That's a 100% Fiji shot.
Yeah, that
100%.
Shane, because JJ and Charlie are just good kills overall. And something I do really want to point out is that you're only going to be happy if you were Mafia in that last round, right? Because you got 2. I saw Cap grinning from ear to ear as he was like, as we were, told, he was like pleased as punch. I've never seen him happier that he like got through. I swear to, on Grace's life, I'm going to put this down. I saw you from ear to ear. I saw him just go like, I swear I saw it, like I look over because I wanted to see Cap's reaction to the fact that he got off scot-free. This is what I see. And you're never going to be happy. Like, even I would just be like, fuck, we didn't kill anybody. Like, I was just like, shit. Like, I can't believe that's ever happened.
I hate to interrupt. Did you just say you looked when everybody was heads were down?
No. Like, when it was clear that things were ending, I looked over.
I just want to make sure you're not peeking.
No, it was not peeking. Like, as we were, it was like,
All
okay,
right.
everybody, you're going to go to sleep now. I look over, Cap's like smiling. Happy as can be.
I feel like Rob's really off tangent. We lost 3 people. I think one of the 2 people who died was probably the Vig, since someone's claimed Vig yet, or I don't really see any reason for a Vig not to claim. It kind of outs you as town, and like you're someone that the town can trust. So
it also paints a target on you. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's fine because that's like painting a target on yourself. In all honesty, is not the worst as long as you can get your information out. Because that's like the Mafia either has to kill you or leave you to be another source, right? So it technically, quote unquote, wastes a bullet because like now everyone expects you to die, right?
Okay.
You gain so much more information if you've already used your ability and you come out. Like that's the only ability you ever get as Vigi. It's not like Cop or Medic where you can continue.
I understand that. I'm still not 100. I'm not 100% convinced that Vigi come out is immediately is the optimal play, but I think it's too theory crafting to waste a bunch of time talking about it right now. I don't know how we're not immediately going to the person who was suspicious at the beginning of the last round, who cost us the chance to. Who made our last formal that made no sense. Okay. Like, how do we not just insta-kill Slacks right now?
All right. Allow me to explain. Yeah, okay. So let me explain my reasoning here. For one...
Well, I said before that there is a link here.
Okay. For one, there's not a link here. Listen, I'm alive right now because the Mafia knows that they don't have to kill me. The town is going to kill me eventually because I'm extremely suspicious. If anything, if you want to do some real next-level plays, don't kill me now. And why would I say that if I was a Mafia? Yeah, it's suicidal. It brings... I'm not trying to stay alive. I'm just saying, like, that'd be extremely risky for me to say as a Mafia. Like, don't kill me. But the Mafia is expecting you guys, as the town, to murder me. It's the easiest thing, and I have the most suspicion. So don't play into their hands, 1. And 2, I forgot my second point. Over to Mount. Oh, yeah, I'm not smart enough to call a fake vote. I will say that, because I don't understand the ramifications.
That doesn't. It doesn't.
Okay, even if you are town, the fact that you're like being this independent and just like making assumptions for everybody else in the game is really, I don't know.
Let me rephrase that. I mean, as I said before, I go off my gut instincts. My gut instincts were Cap. It was just instantly when he came to defend me. And as people have said before, I know I'm done, but Cap has my first instincts. Now I've been backed up by him a little bit as well. And I don't talk about people, I don't accuse people when I'm playing seriously unless I actually think that they have Mafia. I don't know about anybody else, but I do know that I seriously think Cap is it. So that was just me. Nahaz is way too fucking crazy for me to even go anywhere near.
Anyone else over here suspicious of Capital?
Let's start now.
I'm less suspicious of Cap now after the last round. I think the way he handled the end of the round wasn't suspicious to me. I'm actually surprised Will thinks it's... I mean, I didn't see the whole grinning thing, which is what he's kind of going off. So I think to me, he was outraged the fact that he was being accused, and this was potentially our last lynch, which is where we maybe fucked up.
No, here's what happened. I'll tell you. It wasn't like I didn't peek or anything like that. It was Hotbit said that, like, okay, Cap's clear. Like, that was the last person that we were trying to go on, and he said, we're going to go to sleep now. So I scanned the room as fast as I can, because you want to see the reaction, because that's new territory. We've never been there before where we actually have gone tonight without killing anybody. So I look around, I see Cap to my immediate left, and he just looks so pleased. Like, even if I guess when I was like, asleep, what I was deducing, it was like, okay, there's two things. Either he's happy that he got let off, but like I wouldn't be that fucking satisfied. I'd just be like, oh, thank God they didn't do the stupid thing. Like, he was genuinely like pleased. It wasn't relief. It wasn't just like a genuine, oh, things are cool now. It was just like a, goddamn, we got these motherfuckers. And the two people that I heard like laugh quite a bit during that nighttime phase were Cap and Shane. And I was pretty certain about Shane. I threw shade his way pretty quickly, and I still feel like the Vigi possibly made the right call. And we still don't have too much to go off of because we didn't lynch anybody. But I do feel like that's like the strongest possible sign. I'm ride or dying on Cap. 100%.
And just to be clear, Cap, you don't think he's just blindly making this up as a Mafia play? You think he generally saw this, or do you think this is?
So I actually I just assume because I don't think that Blitz as Mafia would make that up. So I think that like either Town or Mafia, I think he genuinely did see that. And I actually thought when he first brought it up, I was like really thinking about it. I was thinking about what this entailed and like, is he Mafia or something? Because I thought he was talking about at the end, like when he first woke up or something and looked at me, and I was just like, I can't even remember. I was like thinking, okay, it was probably just like, it was kind of funny what happened, that the Mafia were arguing so much. And the fact that Hotbid like was kind of messed up the moderating, like for me, that's like, I want him to know, like, hey, it's okay, buddy. So that's what the whole entire team, I'm like, okay, this is going to be my defense. And then he said, like, before the night. I don't remember that. Okay?
Right.
Like, it's entirely possible, but I can tell you my feelings at the end of the night was more of like, okay, they obviously weren't going to vote on me. I never thought that anybody was going to. And it was more the fact that it was like this mechanic where we don't have the opportunity is like weird, and I'm not sure if I like it or not.
Okay, so do you have something really strong to comment on that? Because
Two second
all right.
comment. The only comment that I have is in complete of the Ken bag of tricks to pretend like there was a huge discussion with Mafia when they made it in like half a second. As a moderator, I would not trust him at all to just stand there and be like, "Hey, hey."
Well,
No?
okay. Yeah, he's not gonna.
He's
not going to do that.
I mean,
That's the very definition of the moderator doing something that could decide the outcome of the game, and that's not that Ken is above that, but I don't think he's going to do that.
Come on, guys.
No, I don't think he'd do that here.
No.
I don't think he'd do that here.
No.
Anyway.
No, look.
Whoa, hold on. I gave Slacks a chance to talk before I wanted to talk because he seemed like he wanted to talk about something that we just discussed. I think, first of all, Camp's defense was a little weak on that, but also if we go off of it, it's like just what Blitz saw. So that's that. I just want to lay that out for everyone. I don't know why we're all still only talking about Cap when we decided that we should discuss more people and accuse more people during the day, early in the day. And I don't know why this discussion isn't coming up when I strongly said I definitely heard a lot during the Mafia phase to my left. And I want to, whoa, hold on, calm down. First of all, noise is a very real thing, okay? If a thief comes into your house, you're going to hear him. So let me just go off of that. Let me just go off of that, all right? So I'm not going to accuse anything based just off of the sound, but how come none of you guys heard what I heard? Oh, they heard it.
I didn't hear jack shit, but Port Dakota hasn't said anything.
I want to admit that I did make noise. I did giggle because I heard the giggle coming from that way, and I'm a giggly kind of a guy, and it was a bit anxious. I was getting very anxious because of it.
Movement, not giggles.
Look,
there were definitely giggles.
No, I'm talking about the.
Oh, you were.
How are we on time?
I was like, I know I giggled.
How are we on
So I
time?
figured he was going to call me out right away.
Okay.
And I didn't think too much about Cap's accusation with him being a grin because I figured I might have been giggling as well when we came up, and I thought maybe he was doing the same thing. So I didn't think twice about that much about that personally. In fact, it made me think more on the Slacks because I was Mafia with him in the last game, and this guy trying to vote is very awkward, and there's just as much of a chance that he could have been trying to shoot someone and go back down, and Ken's like, dude, I didn't even see what you were doing. Get back up and do it again. He's like, I'm trying, and then not agreeing. So I was giggling because I'm like,
Okay.
damn, Slacks might be Mafia.
So
that's all I had.
I think again, rule number one in this game, especially with this group, is you make the easy play, you make the high percentage play, And right now, there are a couple of high percentage plays that I think we can choose from. One is I just can't get my head off the fact that Slacks was a disaster for Town in the end of last round, regardless of he's Mafia or not. I still feel like there's a link between Gods and Slacks, but I'm not as convinced of that. I have a pretty strong read from Cap on the strongest player left. I think once again the medic factor came into play. I think that Blitz probably would have been killed by Mafia last night, and that we should talk at least a little bit about that, but that might be the medic factor again. I'm ready to... I don't know that there's enough to go off of just
what
off noise
medic
factor
factor
alone. Just the Mafia trying to guess who is not going to be saved.
And then not killing Blitz because they thought he might be saved.
Yeah, I'm gonna formal Cap. I do agree with your suspicions.
Do we need to formal yet?
No, we don't.
We don't need to.
I think it's fine. Like we.
I mean, okay.
Last time it took way too long to form.
Hold on.
I do want to hear from. There are two players that haven't talked
Wait.
much yet. I do want to hear from these two.
I mean, we can formal him, get more discussion out of that, and then like one of us can rescind, right?
If
like.
the round's 25 minutes or 20 minutes, I'm gonna try
Yeah.
to get a formal by.
Yeah, great.
Because if we just talk, everyone's just gonna deflect.
Okay.
That's just what's gonna happen every time.
So we
Is
don't
there a
have.
second on the Cap formal?
Wait. Just 1 second.
Well, I'll second it so he can talk.
Well, we don't necessarily have to follow through, but I really thought his defense regarding it was incredibly weak.
Yeah.
Like he just said, "Oh, I don't remember smiling," and then he brought up like the hot bid point, which was completely irrelevant because that's not what I was talking about.
Right.
I didn't say that he was smiling on the way back up, or anything like that. I said before the round, I was very clear. I articulated it. I didn't think there was any sort of wiggle room there, and I thought his defense there was pretty bad. And secondly, there was some suspicion from Charlie onto Cap, and I jokingly told Cap because I thought for a second that he was cool. I was like, ride or die. So I thought that's part of the reason why that I'm left alive. But I really, really strongly feel that Cap is a pretty strong possibility, and I do agree with you that there's somebody in that relative area.
Defense.
Yeah.
Defense on Cap. Can we just have him defend?
I just wanted to agree with Will's point that Cap was actually the one when I first started Mafia that articulated to me that when you get accused, that an innocent person's immediate response when being accused is to deny, and more often the Mafia player when accused will launch into this convoluted setup and explanation. And Cap's this convoluted sort of setup for his defense, the convoluted explanation is just out of character for him.
Okay, so I think it's actually much more simple and it's not convoluted. It's more that I'm confused, right? I'm confused that I did smile because that's the thing. I don't think that Blitz would just make that up, right? So when I have time to think about it, I'm like, I don't think I smiled, but I don't think he would make that kind of Mafia play, right? So I think it's like, okay, maybe I subconsciously did it or something. And the reason that I thought it was like after the night, Cuddle Guy thought the same thing. It was just like you were doing the whole thing, and I thought like, oh, it must have been the joke thing or blah, 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 right? So when it comes down to like all of a sudden I realize you were talking about before the night, I'm just confused. So I don't really have a good defense. I'm not going to deny it because, like I said, I don't think that's actually what Blitz would do, okay?
Why are your hands shaking?
I mean, that's what they usually do.
I'm pretty sure all of our handshake, just so we know, because we drink so many energy drinks during events. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just all this residue caffeine.
Steady as a boat, bitches.
All right.
Steady as a boat.
So, is that your defense, or are we gonna continue to?
No, I mean, I think I have more. I was just trying to think.
Can you give us our reads?
while he's thinking. If we rescind, can we formal him again at the end of the day? As long
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
it's not a vote fail. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, so just real quickly, my reads. I feel much less about Chobra because of the way that he went down to like his gut, essentially, and I think that's much more of a Town thing to do. Just because of the fact that if you're Mafia, you're going to be trying to play off of what other people are thinking. So while I was really suspicious of him before, I'm much less so now. But maybe that's just the way he plays Mafia. Coddle Guy, I'm still suspicious of, and because, I mean, it's just natural, this whole thing makes me much more suspicious about Blitz because of the fact that Blitz has left Coddle Guy out there. Like, if he's Mafia, then I think it's very likely Coddle Guy's Mafia as well, sort of thing. Gods, I was suspicious. I really think that, like, Slacks was just playing, like, off of his gut, and he wasn't going to let that go. And there's some players like that. So I wasn't suspicious of him like Nahaz was. I was actually more suspicious of Gods, but I don't know very much about Gods, so I don't know like what kind of play he would make there. But for me, seconding would be more of the suspicious Mafia play. Rob and Ziori, like I've wanted to kill both of you for a little while now, but I think Rob brought up the good point about Blitz, which made me actually more suspicious of him like earlier, because I was like, oh, I really think he's Town. And then he brought up the fact like, yeah, Call Guy didn't die in the first one too. But the two people that did die are people that would know Blitz very well, Purge and Merlini. And I think that they're also incredibly strong Town players, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that Blitz is the person that if he is Mafia, he's going to make sure that you target for him, the biggest threats, because he's so intent on winning.
And something Blitz did say to me like before the last game was that if he was Mafia, Ben's just the kind of player he wants to kill, because when he's sure of a read, he will make sure he kills him. But.
And we're gonna vote on him
Yeah.
unless you guys retract.
Mod's been super quiet, so like we haven't, I don't know why, but we haven't been voting on quiet people yet, and that's been, I don't know, I think we're doing bad on that, but I think we've also had our reasons to do it. And Nahaz, for me, is just a little bit of wild card. I think he's being pretty emotional, and I think that leads him more into Town oftentimes. But then again, I've never seen his Mafia when he's not drunk. So, like, maybe he would still try and, like, he would still be that way. Okay, but the last thing is, that's what I remember. The last thing is that I'm not going to give a very coherent defense, because I'm not thinking, like, if I was Mafia and I would be much more aware of, like, if I was smiling or something like that, right? And if I did get caught out in something like that, I would think of, like, a good excuse, right? But for me, because I'm definitely Town, I'm thinking about what's going on through the game. So I'm not thinking about my own actions. I'm actually thinking about what everyone else is doing.
Okay, so we're gonna vote on him unless you guys retract. So we're gonna vote. Everybody.
Is anybody going to retract?
I'm gonna retract.
I'm not gonna retract.
Okay.
So
Is there
anyone
anyone
else
else that
want a
wants to vote on him? Okay, 3, 2. Okay, not voting on him.
I want
You guys can still
I
vote.
want to put a formal out for Coddle.
Okay, anyone second?
That I will second.
Okay.
What's your accusation?
Let's hear from both of you then.
Okay, well, my accusation, one is obviously going off the noise thing out of any of these guys. I think just given what you guys have been saying is also, like, Coddle Guy's been really quiet, and the only times he's talked is kind of just to jump off of opinions, whether it's accusing or defending, and it's only been about twice, which doesn't give us much information at all, which makes me more suspicious about him. Like, he hasn't really provided much one way or the other, solidifying himself either as a suspect or a Town. Like, he's just sitting there watching everything go by. Also, him and Gods have been really just in sync with each other, so that makes me even more concerned that two people are, like, super in sync about their opinions in a game where you technically shouldn't trust anyone until, like, day 3. And I mean, but that's just the way I play. So if you guys, like to play with trust going off for
To add on that, you guys who have played with Cuddle Guy more, do you think he's a good Town? Because the one game that I remember I saw from him, he was a parody cop, and I think he did very well there. So I expect more out of him, but he was also a role, right? So it's disappointing to me that, like, it's more suspicious if we haven't seen anything out of him.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you guys.
No, I kind of agree with Trobin. I think this is one of those, like, as we just said, we need to start focusing on quiet people, and quiet people have been doing a lot of work throughout all of the games we played so far. I think Dakota's been more quiet than usual, and I don't know, get rid of a quiet one.
I mean, I already pointed out the intel I had with Slacks when I was Mafia with him. It said if we legitimately feel like there was a struggle on trying to get the kills, I legitimately felt like he's someone I would go to, being that I was Mafia with him. Might had a hard time finding out who to point at. Everyone else here seems pretty clear-cut in the strategy they want to do. Outside of that, how genuine Will and Charlie were on going up, a little bit of insight as far as there. But outside of that, it would just be...
Guys, it really bothers me that we haven't talked at all about a really obvious thing, and that's, have we told a story why the Mafia was so indecisive? Have we thought about that? We haven't thought about that at all. We haven't thought about the fact
that's why I was moving and giggling, getting back into the thing, because it's like that's why I was so like I thought it was gonna be Slacks for sure.
If this formal goes through, we don't get another chance.
To dissuade that, I think that what most likely happened, and I was thinking about it a while. I think probably what ended up happening is everybody was like this. Everybody just, like, points to one guy. Nobody really looks up. Hotbit had to kind of, like, be like, okay, like, decide, and then they were just, like, not really communicating with each other, and I think it was just indecisiveness more than anything.
Okay. I think it's a really bad play. As if you're Town and you think that there is a very obvious thing that hasn't gotten talked about,
you need to make sure it comes up at least tangentially.
Okay,
But
so
go ahead.
are we gonna vote on Kalo guy? Is anyone gonna retract?
That's fine. That's fine. Well, I just wanted to go. I mean, I feel like it's less likely about what Blitz said, and more likely that there's a lot of different people that want like a lot of bigger egos potentially on the Mafia side because there's a lot of good players. So that's what I'm thinking more along the lines of why it took so long and why he had to like he didn't do it once or twice. And they're like, oh, okay, do that guy. No, okay, do that guy. If he had to do it like he's like heads up like 4 times. I don't want to keep it anymore. I want to have the vote for Kalo guy. So.
Okay, so vote on Kalo guy. Everybody heads down.
Oh.
If you want to vote off Kalo guy, raise your hand. Everybody heads up. That's 7. That's enough. Kalo guy, you're out.
So only Gons and Haas didn't vote.
Yeah, Gons and Haas did not vote. We're gonna go to night.
All right.
Everybody go to sleep. Mafia heads up. Decide on someone to kill. Decide on your second kill. Mafia heads down. Cop heads up. Decide on someone to check. Cop heads down. Medic heads up. Decide on someone to save. Medic heads down. Vigi heads up. Decide on someone to shoot. Vigi heads down. Everybody heads up. And Mott is dead.
Okay, I think that we. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm almost certain that we misfired on Call Guy, just with how the votes went.
I agree.
I think that's like 100% guarantee.
But then why did we have a successful medic save?
Yeah, we had to have had a successful medic save then. Everyone voted, and we only got 1 kill. Vigi already shot.
Well, the Vigi, Shane, I think there's a good chance Shane was Mafia based on
Shane
the
might have
Vigi
been
shot.
Mafia.
And if Shane was Mafia, then we're down to 1 kill power, so there could be 2 Mafia now.
Is it worth it at this point for not medic or?
Yeah,
I guess I get.
Yeah, yes. To answer your question, it is worth it if you are.
If you're Vigi or if you have a successful read on call.
I actually think we probably have 2 Mafia right now. I think Town is actually pretty strong, based on the reads I have on people. I actually think it might. It's such a strategic blunder most of the time to just open come out, but I actually think this might be a situation where you at least think about it.
I'm not sure who you were talking to, but yeah, I think he was just putting.
It's just such a bad play so much of the time, but I think.
Oh no, I don't think anyone needs to come out now. Like, for instance, if the Vigi's still alive and didn't come out last turn, like there's no necessary better move. Like, it's not necessarily better to come out this turn.
Coming out as Vigi is also just super not credible.
I mean, well, especially now it's not, because we already passed by a turn and everyone was convinced that it wasn't necessarily a bad play. I think the medic, I don't think you necessarily come out because you could still, like, you're going to get shot next turn. Yeah, like medic never comes out unless it's down to like 3 people, because like you will get shot and you can't save yourself. Like there's no guarantee on that.
If you're about to be lynched, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're about to like last ditch effort. I'm a little iffy.
I'm sorry.
So I'm a little iffy on Nahaz, but I was that way when I first played with him, and the most emotional he ever got was when we had no roles but Town. And so I actually think him getting emotional is proof that he's Town, because he really wants to win with justice, and I like get that from him. But my suspicions like still lie. My basic suspicions, just because like he plays very differently from me, right? He tries to play the most high percentage win rate or whatnot, and tries to go for those plays, whereas I'm just trying to look at end result no matter the process. And so I think that's where a lot of my suspicions come from. My suspicions now lie with Gods, because he didn't vote for Dakota, and instantly when we were like, all right, so maybe it wasn't Dakota, he's like, yeah, no, I don't think it was. I think it was Shane, and I think now there's 2. Like, there could be 1, there could be 2. And it could have been either Dakota or Shane, to be honest, right? We have no proof of that. We only have our own ideas. But he was very quick to jump on that kind of out.
I think a lot of that was just because everyone was suddenly saying there's 3 and we got a medic save. So in my defense for that point, it was just very much like, hold on a second. There's plenty of possibility that Shane was Mafia. He was one of my stronger Mafia reads. I think the very first vote we did when we voted on Charlie told a lot. That was where I got the Mafia read on Shane as well as Andrew.
Was anyone saying that we had 3? I thought we were arguing about whether it was Dakota or Shane. I thought we were all convinced there was at least.
I'm almost certain that Dakota was that we fucked up there. Like as soon as I did it, I was just like, I shouldn't have voted. The one that I really should have pushed for is I still think Austin is like every explanation that you've had, Austin. Don't take this the wrong way. You're just like one of my best friends. So in game, different story. But for stuff like this, like I really fucking think you're Mafia. I like 100% had that vibe going in, and then I saw the smile, and then your arguments didn't hold up for me. I seriously believe that we really fucked up. We should have let Coddle Guy, that should have not have been a thing. And I really feel like we should have gone on Cap like 1,000%, and I still do.
Okay, so I don't think you're Mafia, but I have a really hard time with you going, I had a vibe on you, right? And but you disagreed with everyone else up until like the smile thing, right? If it was like the smile thing and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I changed my mind, like 100% you're Mafia. Like you really disagreed with everyone else that I was actually being like, you thought I was Mafia? Everyone thought I was Town.
That was day one, though.
Why are you confused by this?
I'm confused because there wasn't a lot, but then once I saw the smile and your defense of it, I thought it was incredibly weak, and I feel like your defense even now is incredibly weak.
I definitely like. I'm not totally sold on Blitz. Like I think he's playing a pretty good Town, or he could be playing a really good Mafia. 50-50. It feels like standard Blitz game, but Cap feels off to me, and I don't know exactly what it is. I can't point at something in your defense that's like, no, that sounds like bullshit, but you just normally have a different tone or more. I don't know.
Okay, so
Body
when I did
language.
my layout, right, of all the people that I went through, right, I thought I won a lot of people over with that because I was very distinct about like what I thought about like each person, and I also explained like my thought process and why maybe you guys thought my defense was weak. I said it like straight up because I'm confused, because I think that points more to me like thinking about the game actively. I don't think that me pointing out that like everyone thought I was Town and then Blitz is telling me that like he actually had a vibe that I was Mafia. Like I'm just confused by that, right? Because I thought I was being pretty towny. And then Blitz is now telling me that before this whole smile incident that he actually had a vibe that I was Mafia. That for me, like...
Yeah. What I meant is, I meant that I thought that there was a decent chance that it was a strong player. And at first I thought it was Charlie or Pimp, just because I thought that Pimp did fumble a little bit. But I thought it was more likely that, because there was no shade thrown my way, that it was one of the three. But once I saw the smile, like things were like 10%. I was like, okay, maybe Cap is, maybe it's not. That's just the way that you have to play naturally suspicious. But once I saw the smile, I was like 100%. Like, there's nothing else to go on. We go by fucking noises. I see a fucking guy smile because we're going to sleep. Like, how is that not the strongest thing that you're gonna hear?
I just want to say that Cap didn't convince me that he was Town. It was just like I pushed for it, but I didn't put my vote in because I wasn't convinced that he was Mafia, and I was more convinced on this side of the room. But I'm saying, like, you didn't necessarily convince me over that, like, you're Town.
I think we're spending too much time on Cap. I agree with Blitz that he's very suspicious, but I actually want to hear from. I want to hear from Slacks. I want to hear from.
Is Rob alive?
I want to hear from Rob.
Is there blood flowing through those veins? Are you awake?
Before this round started, I thought the medic was dead, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, I think someone got saved. So now I'm kind of redistributing roles here. As far as what I'm seeing, suspicion-wise, I feel like Will's putting a lot of pressure on Cap, and that's why people think Cap is kind of being really defensive and maybe putting him in a position where you think he's Mafia. So there's definitely something going on here, and I would say like between them is, in my book, it's 50-50. I'm kind of thinking Parker's got something up his sleeve as well, but he's a trickster. All game you've been saying the Slacks and Parker thing, but I'm not really sure that that's necessarily a link. More that do I need more? No. Well, Chobra was right, and everyone else was left. You're right here next to him. You know, it's just sorry, I had to throw a meme in there, and so I just thought, well, it's clearly not me. This guy, I don't know, but the way you've been explaining yourself and stuff, I don't know. It's a little bit evasive, but at the same time, you're like kind of jabbing at people, like poking a little bit, but then getting back. You definitely take your moments to talk, and you don't overspeak when you do. You're smart about it. But I'm keeping my eyes on you.
No, you can go ahead since you already addressed.
I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
the mic?
No, I was paused for effect.
Yeah, I feel overall I was thrown off a lot. I think that the one big thing that catches me by surprise with that accusation is like when Andrew first accused you of being quiet, you're like, oh, I woke up. Suddenly there's a medic in the game. And the first alarm bell that came ringing to me was that, well, there's other possibilities other than a medic being in the game. We don't know how many Mafias left for one thing. It could be anywhere from 1, 2, or 3 Mafia, depending on whether Shane was Mafia, whether Dakota's Mafia. So I feel like you made that a very bold statement saying there's still a medic in the game. At the same time, I don't think it necessarily makes you a Mafia. I don't consider you like one of the more experienced veteran players, so I don't think it's a big tell. I'm still very suspicious of Andrew. I had a completely wrong read of him last game, but this game I feel like he's completely changed up how he's been playing, and last game he was Town, so it kind of made me think just that may be something there to it. But
have you guys ever seen Rob play play the role Mafia? Because like I went into this game expecting beatas, expecting theatrics, expecting stupid shit. And the only thing I remember from him from this game was, in my opinion, was a good point about Purge and Merlin.
Right.
And that's the only thing I've gotten, which for me is like, okay, this is off character. Does that mean like he's taking the game more seriously because he might be Mafia? Is he just taking the event more seriously?
Guys, I need a formal, so let's just get a formal now.
Are we over time? Is that?
I mean, we're supposed to reduce by 5 minutes each time, so.
So we're over time?
We're getting almost to the point where we need one right now.
Let's just assume we are.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna count from 5 to 1. Someone better.
I wanna put a formal on Gods, but if someone wants to put a formal on Cap, I'll second it.
I don't.
I'll go with Cap.
There's at least one major.
Now I'll go second.
There's like at least there. We haven't even talked about why Mott. Like.
I mean, we don't have time to do that anymore.
I don't think that's a discussion worth.
I think we should give
stop, no.
You don't think why the Mafia chose to kill?
Okay, can I talk? I am medic. I really didn't want to come out. That's why like I was holding on to it for a really long time. I don't know, like maybe something about the.
Who's your sequence of saves right now?
I saved him, and then Chobra at the end. And honestly, Chobra was like a YOLO one because I didn't know who else to go because I was feeling pressure from Blitz. I didn't want to save. Well, I had already saved Blitz, so I couldn't do it again.
That there are 3 Mafia
Guys, you should use the mic when you're doing this.
I thought that when
I'm done.
when nighttime first ended and it was like only 1 kill, I was like, yes. I was thinking I'll come out, I'll identify Chobra as Town, and I think that gives us somewhere to go on. And then I forgot about the vigilante shot from the night before, which meant that it wasn't just necessary because I didn't necessarily agree with Kalagai. I was like, yeah, I guess I'll vote just because I want to save my medic card, etc. Right? So I voted, but I wasn't 100% about it. So I didn't feel very good about it. And then somebody brought up the vigilante, which, I mean, in my head, I've actually been going on the assumption a couple rounds back that as soon as he got shot, I thought it was Blitz that was the vigilante. And so I've been going back and forth, vigilante, Mafia. I wasn't sure which.
If someone rescinds, I'll formal slacks.
I'm the medic.
Nope. Who did you say?
No, I'm just kidding. I actually am not the medic. I just want to see how he reacts.
All right.
And did you see that?
Okay, so Slacks just pretended to be the medic.
Yeah. I just wanted to say that I was the medic to see how he reacted.
Can you not hold the bottom of the mic?
Sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. The 2 times I've had the mic this fucking game, I might have forgotten.
Can you make my brain hurt less?
I pretended to be the medic because I wanted to see how he reacted, and he paused, and there was
Charlie?
not a big, fast outcry. If he was actually the medic, he'd be like, what? But it was very slow to react. And as you just saw, Mr. Capitalist was very slow to react. He didn't do anything. He put his head down for a second, and then he's like, oh, shit. And then he went for me. I'm not the medic. I'm a normal Town. If you don't believe me, you can kill me next round. I don't care. I just want you guys to win, and I wanted to rustle his jimmies a little bit, and I wanted to see what we learned from that.
I don't know. I think his reaction was okay. I don't think it was great because his first question was, "Who'd you save?" Not, "No, you're not." Not like. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. So, but I don't think it was necessarily convincing either way. I put it that way. But I still, like I said, I would second Cap if someone wanted to formal him, but I'm still gonna stand by my formal on Gods.
Can I go through my reasoning just to secure this maybe a bit more? Okay,
Let's
so
just assume
my
no
3
second,
saves, right? I started with Charlie, and I was disappointed because of the fact that I felt like Charlie was an obvious kill, a high percentage, he was going to go out in the first round, and then Nahaz very correctly pointed out that very likely smart Mafia. Yeah, fuck yourself. Anyway. Anyway, so he correctly pointed that out. I was like, damn it. I felt like an idiot. I was like, damn, I shouldn't have saved him. I should have saved him for second round because, of course, he's going to get shot second round. Yes. When I thought about coming out as soon as there was only one death.
So earlier this day.
Every other time, I thought that I just read the room and I thought that I was going to be able to like survive long enough. Like when it was like, is there going to be a retraction? And it was like pause, and I was like, okay, I think I'm good, and I was just going to hold on to it for a bit longer. Now I feel like it's much more. It was more cemented. So I saved him first, right? And then I went on to Blitz after that because I felt like I wanted to save like Strong Town, and I wasn't sure. Like I feel like Blitz is wily as Mafia. But the longer the game goes, the more suspicion is put on him, right? So I want to be able to save him if he's Town early on and keep him going a little bit farther.
Just so I can get this straight. For my memory, did we actually ever get to a vote on Cap?
No.
We did. We never actually. Okay, that is such an important detail that I wanted to make 100% sure. Because Okay.
I rescinded my.
Provided.
No, hold on.
It was the end of day one more Slacks tonight.
Okay, that was
Oh yeah.
Okay, provided that we never actually got to a vote, which I think is true. I'm 100% convinced that this is true, just because when he early in the game actually reacted so strongly to my pointing out the Mafia dodging medic, I had that in my head and I was expecting you to come out, but we never actually got to a vote.
And then the final one was Chobra, and that was actually like, I was like, oh God, like who am I going to save here? Because like I was feeling pressure, so I was getting less reads on the game, and I felt like I was like, am I being played by Blitz? What's going on, right? So I saved Chobra because identified, like when we were on the couch, I identified Chobra as like one of the people I thought was going to be really good Town, and I thought that the way he stuck to his gut was like a very Towny thing, which I explained earlier. So I was just like, I'll go on that.
Are we retracting this vote or not? Yeah. Okay.
Retracting. Okay.
But I don't necessarily think that clears him, right? Because
I mean,
I really thought like the vigilante
no,
shot.
We were tracking on.
We're tracking on Cap.
Yeah,
we're not formally Cap. I thought you were
I
asking
gotta
about.
make sure that that's the case.
Okay.
Is anyone seconding the formal on gods? Okay,
Yeah.
Blitz is, okay. So let's hear a defense from gods.
What's the accusation?
Well, I mean, I think we.
What's the reason?
Well, I think we went through quite a few, but I think what Rob pointed out, to put it
The main
kind
one
of.
you said is just the noise I made, and you think Dakota's.
Well, I also think the way that you were lining up with Dakota, plus I'm still convinced that Dakota wasn't a wrong kill, and I think on top of that, what Rob was saying in my head, what it made sense as was that everything you said made sure that you weren't in the spotlight. No one like remembers a strong accusation you did, a defense you did, or even a deflection you did. Everything always is just like you've talked. Everyone remembers you talked, but none of us remember what you said. Like you have to stick to your guts, and you haven't done that. Like you haven't really stuck to your guns and said this is my stance on at least like one person, or be like I have no clue on anyone because like I haven't played with you or whatever.
I don't feel that's entirely true or doing justice to the way I played. I think I was the first person to jump to Cap's defense earlier in the game. I definitely believe his medic claim. Also, one person I've been talking about who I think is Mafia whenever I've got the chance to talk is Andrew, and I still stand by that. I was wrong about him last game, and I still feel like he's completely changed the way he's played this game. As far as this game goes, Town read definitely on Cap. I have absolutely no read whatsoever on you, Chobra. I haven't played with you before. It's kind of hard for me to like really gauge how you play. I think the fact that you didn't vote on Charlie in the first round to me makes you seem more Town, because that seemed to be a pretty obvious vote that's not going to go through. And I felt like it's something as an experienced player, you kind of knew that and were just willing to throw a vote in and get some information on. That was where I felt Andrew especially seemed to come up as Mafia. The other person who was on that vote was Slacks as well. I kind of talked about that earlier, and I feel like it doesn't necessarily make him Mafia because he wants to fly under the radar if he's Mafia. At this point, I kind of still have a neutral read on Nahaz. If anything, I feel slightly like he hasn't been that productive towards Town. He's been trying to talk about... He's been talking a lot. He's been getting animated, emotional, but it's very much stuff that's not relevant. Like, we're in the middle of an accusation on someone, and then suddenly he's like, let's talk about why Mort was killed, which to me is like, well, it doesn't necessarily matter. Like, where we were at in the point of the day, he was trying to detract from the conversation and lead in another direction, so I felt like it wasn't very productive for the Town.
Do you think Dakota was the Mafia, or Shane was the Mafia, or... like Charlie or JJ?
I think Shane was the Mafia, as I said. If I think Shane's Mafia, JJ was killed the same night.
Why do you think Shane was it and not Dakota?
I don't feel like Dakota was Mafia.
Kill this bitch!
Whoa!
I don't feel like Dakota was... I don't feel like Dakota was Mafia just because of the way he played last game. I think his body language was quite different in the end, the way this game. On top of that, I feel like just who he voted for and the way he kind of reacted when he got pressured was very much natural. And also the fact everyone voted for him. And the fact that so many people, there was such an overwhelming vote on him. I don't really believe that many Town as well as Mafia would have voted off a Mafia member that early on.
But you didn't vote for him.
Yes.
Okay. So
I didn't think it was Mafia.
Okay.
You're asking me
so,
why.
So you think it's Shane simply because you don't think it's Dakota?
Well, you're asking me why I think it's Shane over Dakota. I mean, Dakota, I did not think was Mafia. I didn't vote for him.
I'm still in the line of thought that I don't think we should cross out the fact that Dakota could have been the Mafia. So that's what I'm going off of.
All right, are we continuing with the vote on the? Yep. No,
I am keeping mine first.
Yep. All right, so everybody heads down. God. If you want to vote off gods, raise your hand. Everybody heads up. That's 5. That's enough. Town wins.
Yeah! What a fucking play.
Okay.
I'm so sorry.
I was so wrong.
Very nice.
Chobra, do you know what Chad is spamming right now? The Chobra strikes again, and then it's just the snake emote.
That's sick.
The Chobra strikes again.
So sick. So what's Shane?
I apologize, by the way. I shouldn't have hugged you. That was so stupid of me.
I know.
That was so stupid of me.
I was just like, well, thank you, Charlie, for clearing me as definitely
medic.
medic.
So stupid of me. That's my bad.
You don't need to apologize for me. You helped save my life.
I really
I
don't
don't remember any of that.
What I saw, here's what I saw. When it ended, I saw you go like.
Let us couch. Just flame him.
Yo. So it's really loud, so we're just going to talk like
I can't hear you at all.
Exactly, that's why I've taken off the headset. Fantastic performance.
Thank you.
I feel like you were definitely the MVP of this match. You know, you know.
What can I say?
I think you really nailed everything. So like, bring us through some of the mindset of what brought you to sort of finalizing and making sure that gods and
well, first of all, this is super awkward.
Yeah,
there's
really
a lot of
far.
there's a lot of tension here.
So far away.
Let's keep it that way. I like the tension.
All right.
So first of all, I think I'm really good at this game. Yeah. So when Nahaz is like, why should we keep you around? My defense was exactly that. It was like, I think I'm good at this game, and if you kill me, you'll find out because I'm Town. Like I was super confident, right? So that's why I could say that.
No.
You know, it might bite me back when I'm Mafia someday, but
no,
that's
I definitely think your performance, like you brought a lot of evidence to the table that showed that you were strong, and I was actually very surprised to see that people were like kind of against that.
Yeah, you know, okay, so I think everyone's really shifty about me because no one's really played that many games with me.
Right.
So everyone's really wary, and then so I tend to start super silent. I try not to talk much on day one unless I'm accused.
Right.
Like no matter what role I'm, because I think day one, no one really has any info. We either go off of like movement unless it was obvious, or kind of like vibes we get.
Well, that's what I was saying is that you get people to talk, you get some of these quieter people to talk, and then like you can hopefully tell some of the reactions based off of that.
Yeah.
So that's a very good point.
I think you can also tell agendas of stronger players better.
Right.
So even like regardless of their role, right, whether they're Town or Mafia, you can tell if they want to like oust someone right away, or if they just want to gather information. And that helps you in the future days, no matter which role they are, because now you know their style.
Right.
So that's what I go off of.
That's very interesting.
With Dakota, so Dakota's kind of the unfortunate victim of my random vote on the movement I heard.
Yeah.
I mean, that just stings for him that someone was super loud. Either him or gods, or maybe both.
It could have been. And that's the thing is that, both of them were right next to each other.
Yeah.
I believe, right?
And that's kind of unfortunate for them. But
yeah.
Also,
that's they disagreed so much. Like, they were just pointing fingers.
So it took forever, yeah.
Yeah, I also think like audio actually won the game.
This is actually one of the things I noticed was that the games ended up being quite long. This felt like the longest game, clearly, at least to me.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
So part of it is the history. People start playing a few games. And
yeah,
3 games ago, I remember.
Well, see, but that logic can be also refuted because it's like, hey, every game's different, right? There's going to be totally different reactions, totally different things, and of course you could bring down this like meta train of like.
That, but a famous man named Bruce Willis once said in a movie called 16 Blocks that weather changes, seasons change, traffic changes, but people don't change.
Beautiful.
And people don't change.
Roles do.
Yeah.
That's true.
I mean, let's just put it this
roles
way.
change.
Bruce Willis didn't play that same character in another movie, and he probably said something different.
Okay.
But I don't have the
All
quote
right.
on hand.
Fine.
So.
Fine, you got me there. I mean, so Dakota was just unfortunate, but on top of that, I think so. I was still pretty convinced about gods, regardless of movement.
Right.
I thought the last argument I made about how he was always staying out of the spotlight.
Yeah.
Was
he definitely tried to do the play where he was avoiding getting into trouble, but like kind of just like staying just on the edge. You know, you chime in a little bit, you say a couple things, and then in the end, I think you're right. That bit him in the ass.
He seemed to pile on to other people. He would just kind of agree with someone else
and
move it along and let someone else talk.
Definitely, when you end up doing that, I find it ends up being more negative when you're Mafia. You have to be stronger individually, but obviously everybody has different play styles. Very excited to see.
A tip about Parker. Guy's nearly as wild card as I am, though. He'll get crazy. He'll get trolly.
He'll get crazy.
You gotta watch out for
I
that
could
guy.
see that.
I'm excited for the crazy.
I could see that, but I knew I would get him as soon as I pressured him against Dakota, because I could tell because we led him on so many other accusations that he didn't have a thought prepared. So if he was Mafia, if you pressure him with all these other questions, and then you're like, "What about your teammate that just died?" and he's like, "I don't think he was it." Like all along, it's like, okay, you don't have an answer.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed that at the very end there, where it was like he stumbled a little bit, and that was a downfall for sure.
So that's just what it is.
Great. Well, hopefully I will join in the next game. That's
Yeah,
my
man.
goal. I haven't played one yet. I'm very, very excited.
Switch with you.
You know, they're saying Sea God, but the real Sea God's coming in.
Oh, okay. All right, show me how it's done. I'll observe.
Yeah. No, yeah, hopefully everybody's enjoying, you know, the town. It's been really exciting. I've been enjoying it even from production, just working on a whole bunch of stuff. Hopefully you've enjoyed the overlays that we spent a little bit of time fixing. I know there's been some issues, so I'm glad everything's kind of going well. How about you guys? Have you been enjoying the event yourselves?
Hell yeah, man.
Yeah?
I don't know, like the last game, the YOLO Vigi shot on Shane. I was so happy with my life. I was just like, yeah, this guy's
so you were the
moving.
one who took the shot.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
Vigi.
Oh, you were Vigi.
And
Yeah.
in this one night, like where, Charlie told me what happened. Like Parker would get up, then he would point at someone and he would put the head down, and then all the other guys didn't agree, so they had to redo everything. And Shane was
that's
getting
why
mad.
the nights
Like,
took so long. Okay,
yeah, so Shane was getting like super mad, just like pointing like this.
Yeah.
And I mean, you hear it, right? And then I was like, all right, because the Vigi time comes after the Mafia, right? It's like Mafia, Corp, Medic, Vigi.
Yeah.
So I heard him. I was like, all right, this is like for sure a kill, and it's just like.
See,
yo,
this is
like,
one of
down.
my biggest worries coming to these games is that, for me personally, I don't play like the sound rule is like as meta as your head. You kind of just try and push it away.
It's just super
now,
obvious.
Now here's the
sometimes.
thing: are people going to start shifting around during the night on purpose?
Well, see, that's what I do.
To be like a non-roll, you know.
I
Like
don't know about
presence,
that
right?
because whenever you do this as town, you make yourself more suspicious. So Mafia's not gonna kill you because they know you're suspicious, and other people are gonna latch onto you because you are suspicious. So I think you kind of just don't move at all.
Right,
at
but
night,
if
or
you're
just have to use
you're
it.
known as being a person that moves around every single night, no matter what happens, like that could lead to a benefit. Obviously, this meta is going to develop
Yeah, I mean,
over
there's-
the next couple
of course.
days. Like that's the thing with 3 days with the Mafia.
Yeah.
There's actually going to be a meta at this event, and I'm very excited
It's just
to
like
see what
any
that
other
kind of
summit.
develops.
The meta evolves within it, and we're gonna have
Exactly.
people
There's-
like
there will be a
moving
tournament. There'll be
on
a tournament
purpose.
meta.
People's
Especially-
dark secrets will be revealed. Our dark sides will come out, and we'll all be different people after 3 days. You won't recognize any of us.
I'm so worried about that actually, because I'll be honest. Like people are like, oh Connor, you're such a nice guy, you know. You're
Oh,
such-"
shit.
And it's like,
Really? Is that what you mean?
I sometimes I go ham, and like, I just want like when I think somebody's Mafia, and I'm like really, really, really sure, I will just try and crush them.
Yeah.
And like that's like.
No, I worry about that too because
'Cause,
I've
like,
only
that's not a
talked to
nice
everyone like
person.
The Chova
3-4
treatment.
times except for Blitz and like
wrap around
Hoppin.
the
Yeah.
necks.
Yeah, and then I go out to Gods and I'm like, yeah, well, what you think about this? What about that? And I
Yeah,
just start
yeah.
interrogating him. Like, I've only talked to you 5 times,
Yeah,
but
just use the "you don't know me" argument.
there
You
go.
don't know me.
Yeah, but then you know what?
You don't know me.
It's just one of the arguments that actually you can end up changing from that. It's like, you know, you sit at a poker table, you don't know the 5 people around you.
That's true.
But you have to figure out how they play.
Yeah.
And like that's way like different, you know, where it's like you don't have any talking, you know, you talk with them casually maybe at the table, but there's no interaction that's game oriented. So, yeah. I can't hear you, dude. Okay. So apparently this is going to be the last game.
Ooh,
so
shit.
I hope to play.
Yeah, you'll get.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Just one thing. Okay.
Oh yeah. So afterwards,
Sorry,
we're
the
gonna-
host is over here, guys.
Yeah,
No.
Conrad, if you'd like to hear, the production just told me that afterwards what we're going to do is we're going to do a draft for 4 teams. It's going to be that best of 1. 5-on-5 Dota.
Right. Yes, I've heard about this. I'm very excited to see
Gonna
how
get
it
so
goes down.
dumpstered.
So there's going to be like a
5-on-5,
mini
huh?
Dota tournament, I believe.
Not 4-on-4. It's 5-on-5.
5-on-5. Yeah.
Very non-traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just like one thing for the next game, I want to point out. I really want to give everyone like a hint. Check what the check what the cop is doing, because the cop role so far has been really unsuccessful in general.
Yeah.
We theory crafted in after the last game about how to play the parody cop really, like to a certain extent.
Wait, who was cop this game?
I believe it was Merlini, actually. He died in
well, okay.
So that was the unfortunate part.
Well, that's
Oh,
another
no, wait.
issue, right?
Was it this game or was it the last game?
It was. He was cop.
No, it was this game. He wasn't.
He was
Right.
killed
And
days
so that's like
ago.
one of the things. I was like, I was ready to meme. I was ready to like make fun of these jokes, and obviously cannot. He's dead. He's dead.
The police didn't come up.
No,
Someone didn't pick up the phone when you called him.
Exactly. One way that I look at the parody cop role is I try and find somebody who is, I feel like I can read the best as my first pick, and then afterwards I will pick somebody who I either think is really town or really mafia, and like whatever my gut feeling is, or you try and pick somebody who you think is gonna die night zero, because that is a confirmed town.
Yeah, I think you have to
instantly.
go one or the other on day zero. But I think the best way to think about it is you're basically a town with slight superpowers. Like you have to go with your guts. You can't try to mind game everyone, because you won't get clear answers until minimum day 3. It's going to take at least day 3 to get 100% answer on one person.
Well, technically not. Day 2, you can just.
Well, but
if
then
you get
won't
the, if
know,
you get
though.
but no.
Oh, if you get the kill,
if you get
okay.
Either you get the kill night zero, or you just get a different check. Luckily,
The thing
like
is,
by luck.
I don't think you do a day 0 or night 0 check on someone who's gonna die, because someone's gonna die eventually. Like if you check 3 people, there's still a really high chance that someone of these 3 people is gonna quote unquote reveal themselves in a certain way.
Right, but I think the biggest thing is that you know that person's dead. They're 100% town.
But then again, you only have one town read, and that's pretty much my fail in the game beforehand, because I was so sure that Hotbit was a town, and I still checked him because before he really made himself a town guy, he was kind of suspicious.
Day 2 though?
Or
3?
I think it was. I couldn't come out because I only had Hotbit, and then I got shot.
Right. I mean,
It's-
I guess
it's
it's
super
how
hard.
sure you are. Like if you were 99% sure about Hotbit, maybe it was better not to check him. But I think general rule of thumb is you want to have a litmus test. And I think getting someone on day 0 that dies is like a guaranteed litmus test. That all right, now you know whoever you check. If they're with him, they're
and,
town,
and
then
the
you go
people
off
who
of that.
agree with Hotbit, like very typically will likely be town in that sense. Like if Mafia's starting to agree with like somebody who you thought was really town, then you're like, oh well, they obviously probably have the same agenda. And if you're agreeing with that town member, like that also puts you in a beneficial position. But also if you pick somebody who's like your day 0 could also be very mafia, but they're also playing really town day 0.
Yeah.
That can really screw up. Yeah, you're talking about this.
I mean, at that point, it's actually a game of numbers, right? You can like figure out how many are left, how many bullets, and you're like, well, if it's like 7 people and you have 3 reads on town, you just reveal it and you die the next turn because town's gonna win.
You can still get saved, maybe, right?
And you could
'Cause
get
medic
saved. Yeah.
isn't gonna be himself.
Well, yeah, power rolls in general actually cause people to play differently, I feel.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I feel like there's actually a lot of I don't know if I've noticed in these games so much, but just misreads where the people think you're mafia because
you're trying to hide something.
Yeah, exactly. And you're and that's like the beauty of this game is that you see these moments happen and there's going to be a lot of excitement, I think.
Yeah. No, I think it's fun. We learn a lot about each other.
Oh yes.
Oh, yeah.
We'll all be
Very
really
good.
good friends by the end of this.
Or enemies.
Or enemies. Yes. Yeah. I guess
one way or the other, it's more intimate, right, than neutral. Enemies are very intimate. I mean, that's just how it is.
True. All right, looks like the next game's getting a little bit set up. Purge is standing in the middle. I'm not sure if he's going to be playing. We got Owen, Sheever, K-Poptosis.
I hope Purge survives.
Gotta
the
go
F,
reserve your seat.
the F God. And
God is back.
now I can't see who's there, but hopefully we'll find out. I'm gonna probably head over in just a few minutes. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the event. I got Pitmunkle with me, got Rob, I got Chobra, who I always want to call Will, but everybody only knows him as Chobra, and this is the other Will.
No,
so
he's Will too now officially.
You will too.
I mean, you know what? In the Dota scene, I'm okay being number 2.
I'm okay with you being Will 1.
Oh wow!
Thanks, Conrad.
Actually, I'm just pocketing you for later.
Oh wow!
The meta begins. No, but thanks everybody for tuning in. I don't know if we're gonna go to a quick break, but I don't know if I can talk any longer. I totally think this guy has a really hard job, so we should all appreciate his hosting abilities.
It's all good, man. We're gonna go to a break, and we'll be right back with game number 4.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
hopefully somebody's sitting over there to do this.
I actually don't. It's usually me. So.
Oh, okay. Never mind. You're right.
I think someone else is.
You know what? So far, I really counted on that.
Talk back to us.
Hey, Earth to production.